Okay, now let's talk about a few points about uh, some specific receptors. First of all, let's talk about G protein coupled receptors. You might get a written question that maybe write a short note on G protein coupled receptors, or you may be asked questions in your viva about G protein coupled receptors. So let's see what are G protein coupled receptors. These are cell membrane receptors. The receptor is a long peptide chain and it passes the cell membrane 7 times. So this is called a 7-pass receptor. This is also called a 7-pass receptor. This receptor has an extracellular domain to which ligands bind. Therefore, this domain is called ligand binding domain. That means as the receptor is a transmembrane receptor, that means it has a part which is outside the cell membrane and its another part is inside the cell membrane. So the outer part binds with the ligands, that means the drugs or neurotransmitters, etc. So that is called the ligand binding domain, and the internal domain or intracellular domain that gives signal for the ultimate effect. So it is called effector domain. Okay. Now what is G protein? G protein is a special trimeric protein within the cell containing alpha, beta and gamma subunits. It has 3 subunits: alpha, beta and gamma. Okay. So GTP or GDP binds with the alpha subunit. Of its alpha subunit, what type of things bind? There binds GTP or GDP. So this molecule is called G protein, because this protein molecule binds GTP or GDP, so they are called G protein. And G protein binds with the effector domain of the 7-pass receptors. So that means G protein binds with the effector domain, that means the intracellular domain. Now there are 3 types of G proteins. One is one is GS or G stimulatory system, another is GI or G inhibitory system, and the other one is GQ system. In G stimulatory system, it acts by cyclic AMP as the intracellular second messenger, and it increases the cyclic AMP activity. For example, action of epinephrine on beta 1 adrenergic receptors. So they increase cyclic AMP activity. But for GI system or G inhibitory system, they also act by cyclic AMP as intracellular second messenger system, but they decrease cyclic AMP activity. Now you may ask me, what is second messenger? I will talk about this within in a minute. So just wait and see the example. Acetylcholine action on muscarinic 2 receptors on heart. It uses this system, GI system. Okay. Now come to GQ system. GQ system does not involve cyclic AMP as their second messenger. Rather, they use inositol triphosphate, that is IP3, and diacylglycerol, that is DAG. So they use IP3 and DAG as their intracellular second messenger. For example, epinephrine acting on alpha 1 adrenergic receptor use the GQ system. Now come to the details of mechanism, how these systems act. Okay. So let's come to GS system or G stimulatory system. So what happens? First, ligand bind with the ligand binding domain of the receptor. Then the effector domain of the receptor becomes active. Alpha unit of the G protein binds with the effector domain. Then GDP, which was bound to alpha unit. Actually, GDP is bound to the alpha unit. After binding of the drug with the receptor, inside the receptor, the GDP is converted to GTP on the alpha subunit. Okay. So alpha unit loses its connection with beta and gamma units. Now GTP bound alpha unit it activates adenylyl cyclase. Adenylyl cyclase What does it do? It adenylyl cyclase converts ATP into cyclic AMP, and cyclic AMP stimulates protein kinase A. What does protein kinase A do? Protein kinase A will lead to phosphorylation of an enzyme or an ion channel to produce biological effect. Okay. Now come to GQ system. GQ system a bit more complicated. Okay. What does it do? Ligand receptor interaction activates the effector domain like the GS system. Then alpha unit binds to the GQ and gets activated. Alpha unit binds with the GQ. Then GDP bound to alpha unit is converted to GTP like the previous system. Alpha unit loses its connection with beta and gamma units like the previous system, and alpha unit now stimulates phospholipase C. It stimulates phospholipase C on the cell membrane. Phospholipase C then breaks down the membrane bound PIP2, that means phosphatidyl inositol biphosphate, into IP3 and DAG, inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. Now these IP3 and DAG go into distinct pathways to produce effects. What are the pathways? Let's see the IP3 pathway. Inositol triphosphate stimulates the endoplasmic reticulum to release its calcium outside in the cytosol. The calcium then binds with calmodulin. Calcium calmodulin complex is formed, and this complex stimulates CAM kinase enzymes. CAM kinase, specific type of enzyme. And what does it do? These CAM kinase enzymes lead to phosphorylation of enzymes, ion channels, etc., and that leads to biological effect. The diacylglycerol pathway is a bit less complicated. What does it do? Diacylglycerol directly stimulates protein kinase C, and protein kinase C leads to phosphorylation of enzymes and ion channels, which gives biological effect. Now let's go to ion channel linked receptors. A few talk about ion channel linked receptors. Ion channels are selective for particular ion species. That means if an ion channel is specific for sodium, that will not allow chloride passage. Okay, so these are selective for particular ion species. So the sodium channel will not permit magnesium, zinc, etc. They have gating properties. That means the nature of the stimulus controls the transition between open and closed state of the channel. The nature of the stimulus actually controls the opening and closing of the channel, and they have specific molecular architecture. Now come to their mechanism. How do they perform? How do they act? Ligand binds with its receptor. The receptor is an ion channel here. Okay, channel opens, and lots of cation influx occurs like calcium, sodium, and cell's resting membrane potential moves toward the threshold. Okay, and if it reaches the threshold, then action potential occurs, and if action potential takes place, then the cell is electrically stimulated, and that leads to action. Now drugs working through different ion channels. Let's look at a few examples. Okay, now drugs which act by blocking sodium channels, for example local anesthetics, lidocaine, anti-epileptic drugs, for example phenytoin, antiarrhythmic drugs like quinidine, etc. Now some drugs act by blocking potassium channels, for example some antiarrhythmic drugs, amiodarone, sotalol, etc. Then some drugs act by blocking calcium channels, for example antihypertensive drug amlodipine, calcium channel blockers. Okay, then some drugs act by opening chloride channels, for example sedative hypnotic drugs, for example clonazepam. Now as we were talking about second messengers, what are these second messengers? Let's see. These are very important for your exam. The intracellular mediators that are produced as a result of binding of the first messenger. What is the first messenger, or what are the first messengers? First messengers are drugs, hormones, neurotransmitters. That means our ligands. Our ligands are first messenger. So first messenger binds with the receptor. First messenger binds with the receptor, and that leads to production of an intracellular mediator. That leads to production of an intracellular mediator, and after activation of that intracellular mediator, or after production of that intracellular mediator, that leads to a series of events, and which produces ultimately the effect that is called second messenger. So see the definition here, that the intracellular mediators that are produced as a result of binding of the first messenger with the receptors are called second messengers. Now second messengers are responsible for the ultimate physiological or pharmacological effects of the first messenger. So binding of the ligand or binding of the first messenger with the receptor is not sufficient to produce the action. Of course there should be a the production of second messenger, okay, or the activation of second messenger that will lead to the pharmacological action or the pharmacological effect. Okay, so you can see here some important second messengers. You may be asked in your exam that name some important second messengers. What are the important second messengers? Cyclic AMP, inositol triphosphate, diacylglycerol, calcium, cyclic GMP, etc. So this ends our lecture in pharmacodynamics. Thank you very much.